Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to have you today. We're going to get into the Raiders, what's going on with Antonio Pierce, what's happening with Champ Kelly. But right up front, I want to address the situation with Maxx Crosby and his statements, what has been said about his statements, um, and all that encompasses his comments with the Raiders, etc. So, first of all, again, thank you for being here. So many of you have liked, shared, subscribed, and we're growing exponentially. And just want to simply say thank you. It's because of you guys. Without you, it doesn't happen. And we appreciate you very much. So, thank you so much for doing that. Additionally, I want to just let you know we are grateful for you. And you can follow us on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, at Hondo Carpenter. You can also follow us on Instagram at Hondo SR and go to si.com/NFL/Raiders, where all of our stories are at. And if you want to, and I think you should, we don't spam you, we don't sell your information whatsoever. But 3 days a week, we will send you a email with all of our biggest stories so you never miss another story. Again, when you go to si.com/NFL/Raiders, upper right hand corner, it says newsletter. You just click on it, and that's where that happens. So let's get right into today's podcast. I want to discuss Maxx Crosby and the Maxx Crosby situation. It was reported by some that Maxx Crosby would demand a trade if Antonio Pierce is not hired. His wording publicly was that he would consider all options, of which demanding a trade is legitimate, that he may. I was stunned by the response of a lot of Raider Nation that said, bye, Felicia, you can't have that. And I was stunned by it. And I want to tell you why. I'm going to tell you how it applies to the current situation with the Raiders and what my take of it is. First of all, I have had the privilege of knowing Maxx Crosby for many, many years, back to when he was not even playing at Eastern Michigan, when he was not playing as much as he wanted, nor, in my opinion, as much as he should. Maxx Crosby is a lot of things. He is not a drama king. He is not a person it's all about me. In fact, he is one of the rare chameleons that it's all about we, not about me. He is one of the most loyal people in the world. He is one of the most faithful guys in the whole world. I have said this numerous times. He is, to the best of my knowledge, I have never met his family. If I have, I don't remember. But he is a guy that when you get to know him, and I know him well, he's the kind of guy you want your daughter to marry. He is a guy that, when he came face to face with his issues, he chose sobriety. He is a guy that gives 110%. And again, the loyalty factor, who he is as a man, he pours himself into being a father, a husband. Those are the most important things in the world to him. And so he's asked, what do you think? Now, I want to go through and I want to parse what he said. And again, I'm coming from a perspective of somebody who knows Maxx and knows him well. And I want to talk about what I think of what he said. Now, you're certainly welcome to feel anything you want. But Maxx Crosby puts more effort into being a Raider than just about anyone. from Mark Davis on down. He is at the facility nearly every single day. He works and eats. There isn't a cheat day in Maxx Crosby's world in anything he does. You know, I've lost a lot of weight, about 180 pounds. Didn't have surgery. It doesn't mean people who have surgery are wrong. I just didn't need it. By being extremely disciplined and watching what I eat. And they always will say, hey, come on, today's a cheat day. You'll hear people losing weight. Today's a cheat day. Max doesn't even know what a cheat day is because he is an all-in or an all-out guy. That's how he rolls. It's how he operates. It is the way in which he was raised. You know, his family are hardworking people. You don't get to say, oh, I'm just blowing the day off. Every day you grind. Every day you do what you do. This is a man that puts the maximum effort into being a Raider. This is a man who, for I've been telling you for several weeks, has been running at between 60 and 70% capacity. This is a guy that literally played when there was concerns about, you know, his body being in a place could have cost him everything. Literally. This is a guy that the last several weeks of the season could have cashed it in and nobody would have questioned his commitment. That's not how he rolls. At one point, he was the only player in the NFL this year listed as doubtful on Thursday who played and has given everything. This is a guy that loves Mark Davis, loves the organization. And I've seen people comment, hey, if you think you just want this guy because you like smoking cigars and listening to music, okay, you are entitled to whatever opinion that you want. And I respect that. 100%. I respect that. But that means you're also entitled to be wrong. And when you make a comment, he only wants Antonio Pierce because of the music they listen to in the locker room or smoking cigars. That is the most ignorant comment in the entire world. Again, you're entitled to it. But I literally went through, and anybody I saw it, I just muted them. Don't want to listen to them. You have a right to speak, but your right to speak doesn't mean I have to listen. I laugh. Everyone wants to talk about what makes me angry, what makes me sad. Well, my rights don't end where your feelings begin. And so you're entitled to feel that way. But I want to take a different perspective because if you don't know Max, you may feel that way, but me missing the point. Max made the most Raider answer that there is. Hey, all I want to do is win. I am driven to winning. I am doing every single thing in the world I can do for the Raiders to get in the playoff. But what's he say? If we don't keep AP, I would have been here 5 years and had 5 coaches. He's saying to Mark Davis, I want to be a Raider. My desire is to be a Raider. My heart is to be a Raider. I love your team. I am committed to winning. I risked my life when sick this year, as well as the way I play. I risk my life every time I step on the field because of CTE and other injuries. A lot of the best football players have trouble walking the rest of their life. One hit away from a massive injury. And what's he say? Not if you don't pay me X, I'm leaving. If you don't get me a coach and you don't demonstrate to me you are as committed to winning as I am, I'm going to consider every option. Is there a more Raider answer? Your franchise's motto is just win, baby. You have a player who demonstrates just win. And he says, if you don't want to do that, great. Great. We're just going to consider every option. I not only think that he made the right statement, I don't blame him. This is a guy saying, listen, I got mine. I got my big deal. I can sit back and cash checks, but I love the fans. I mean, he talked about the fans. You know, we're sick of this. What are they sick of? Instability. I want there to be stability. I want to win. I want to stick with a scheme. Hey, the last time we had something going, you chose to listen to other people and ignore us. That's great. It's your team. You can do that. He didn't call Mark Davis out. He just said, but if you choose to ignore us again, and I'm the one giving you all of this, then guess what? If you choose to, that's cool. I'm going to consider what my options are. What's my option? My option is I can ask to be traded. Now, Mark Davis has a right to say, screw you, I'm not trading you. It's Mark's right. That's Max's right. But he's saying, we're tired of this. He's literally saying, we want you to succeed. It's like the person in a relationship and the other is constantly cheating. And they say, listen, I'll take you back. But if you do it again, we're done. I care about us, or I wouldn't give you a second chance. I wouldn't give you a third or fourth or whatever that may be. But you do it again, I'm done. I'm done. Are they wrong? Is it wrong of a guy who gives you everything he has, not just at practice, not just in the building? When is the last time you saw Maxx Crosby in any trouble legally? When's the last time you saw him make a fool of himself? When's the last time you saw him make a fool of the organization? No. He's going to NBA games, getting tons of respect from other players in other leagues because he is an elite generational talent. I've been telling you for the 4 years I cover this team. He reminds myself and the people close to him of the work ethic of an Irvin Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. He is one of those elite players. If he's not the best, he's the second best defensive player in the National Football League. He is a top 5 player at any position. If you made a current Mount Rushmore of current players, Crosby's on it. And he's saying to you, listen, this is what I expect. I expect the organization to be as committed to winning as I am. And if it's not, hey guys, I got my money. This is about championships. I want to win championships. I'm tired of watching the Super Bowl. I'm tired of watching the playoffs. I've been here all these years, been to the playoffs once. If you don't keep AP next year and champ, a lot of people talk about AP and they should, but he includes champ in that. Then I got to consider being here. Is there a more Raider answer? No. Guess what? Each of us, most of us, work for somebody. Okay. Now, let's use a couple people as an example. All right. You all know, because I felt like I was not being braggadocious, but I always tell you if something could skew my opinion. And it's called full disclosure. So, in the interest of full disclosure, when Brian Hoyer got signed here, I made it clear to everyone that Brian Hoyer and I go back a very long ways and are very good friends. He taught one of my sons when he was very young how to throw a football when I became, a quarterback. I've known him since before he was even in college. I consider his parents friends. I know his siblings, who are tremendously wonderful people, was even at his grandma Alma's funeral. I don't say that to be braggadocious. I said it because I wanted to give you full disclosure in case you thought my opinion of Brian was altered by that. If Brian Hoyer says, if you don't keep Antonio Pierce, I'm going to consider all my options, no one cares. No one should care. Brian's impact on the football team is nowhere near that of Max's, so he doesn't carry the weight. I'm using Brian because even though I know him, the reality is he doesn't carry the weight of Maxx. And Brian, who's one of the smartest people you know, and I know, would tell you that. My opinion doesn't matter. There is maybe one other player on this team who carries Max's weight, but I don't think Devontae carries the weight of a Maxx Crosby. Devontae's older. He's got less career ahead of him than he has behind him. Maxx doesn't. Maxx has got a lot more years left than what he's played. I'd be stunned if he doesn't play 10 or 12 years. Now, he may choose, okay, the risk isn't worth it. I've got my money. I'm not, but he doesn't play for money. Yes, he makes a ton of it. Yes, he gets a paycheck. But the guys who play for money are the guys that get the big deal and then change how they play. Money changed Maxx. It made him even more committed. He's a unicorn. He is a rare breed. He is elite. If you were to let the NFL know that that Davante Adams is on the trading block, there would be a ton of NFL teams interested. I would say to you, 8 to 10, maybe 12 teams would be interested in Davante Adams. Okay. I know that there was 8 to 10 who called prior to the trade deadline. Maxx Crosby, if you let it be known, he's on the trade deadline. 31 teams step up and are interested in trading for him. A generational talent with a lot of wear left on the tires, who will give you maximum effort. Okay, that's a unicorn. Again, and so when he says that, he's not coming out being a prima donna. He didn't come out and say he hates Davis, he hates the Raiders, he's tired of being this was not came out and said, I love it here. I'm a Raider for life. I'm tatted. But I'm a Raider for life if you want to be the Raiders. If you're all in and it's just win, I'm here. I'm in the building. I'm giving you, I am demonstrating to you what Raider effort is. And if you don't want to demonstrate to me Raider effort, okay, that's cool. Love you. Peace out. I don't think he did anything wrong at all. I think Maxx Crosby cares. He loves this organization. He loves the fans. And he loves winning. He's a winner. And he's saying, I became a Raider because your motto is just win. And if you're not going to do what I think is necessary for just win, I'm not playing just for the cash. I'm playing because I want to win. And you saw the last several games of this year. sick beyond belief, and some of them throwing up. His knee, his thumb, which both will get surgery this week. I think Wednesday. If you don't want to be Raiders, then I'm going to go find somebody who does. Now, you may disagree with them. Okay, guess what? If I go to my company and I believe that I am a great contributor to my company, I believe that I generate them a lot of money. If I go to my company and say, if you don't do this, I'm leaving, and don't believe at all that my company wants me to go, I believe their answer would be, okay, we appreciate you. Thank you for all you've done for us. Wish you the best. It's just the reality. Most of us, that is the reality. I work for a great company, committed to the same things I'm committed to. But they would say, okay, Hondo, listen, we appreciate you. You've been a great contributor. God bless you. Wish you the best. I don't even claim to be that person with my company, but Max is. When I go to work, my children worry, am I going to get a paper cut? When he goes to work, his beautiful bride, his family, and eventually, when his baby's older, will wonder, is dad going to be able to walk when he's 50? Is dad going to end up with an infection, losing a leg? Is dad going to be able to, physically pick us up, pick up his grandchildren? Is he going to be able to remember the names of his grandchildren? Because he's a unicorn. If you want to consider him a prima donna, if you want to go buy Felicia, that's fine. But then don't tell me all you are is committed to winning. He may be wrong. Antonio Pierce may fail. Champ Kelly may fail. But based on the track record of this organization, Max has given you more reason to believe he knows the path to being what Raiders are than anybody in the organization's given you. Mark Davis has went out and hired some very respected, really good coaches. You can't say that John Gruden wasn't a great coach. You can't say that about Del Rio. You can't say that Josh McDaniels, he's been a failure as a head coach, but so incredibly respected as an X's and O's guy. Complete failure, not denying that. I don't think any one of us could look at Mark Davis and say, wow, he's made a lot of decisions that were, just intentional. He didn't care. That would be unfair to paint Mark Davis in that brush. And I don't believe it's truthful. I believe he does care. If he didn't, Josh McDaniels would have stayed as the coach. And I've said that. But here's the one guy in his organization that says, listen, we've trusted your way multiple times. It failed. Please trust me. Now, I want you to realize what Max did when he made that statement. He put himself, I'm up here on a hunting trip. By the way, temperature today is with the wind chills somewhere around 20 below zero. And, but let me tell you what Max did, because he's not dumb. A lot of people see the language and, how he likes to horse around and think, oh, Maxx Crosby, there's not a dumb bone in his body. He is calculated. He is consistent. And he's very, very smart. Max knew when I make this statement, if Mark Davis chooses not to listen to me, then I know what my value is here. Shut up, play the game. I think my value is more than that. So he speaks up, knowing now if Champ and AP get hired, the bullseye's on him. The bullseye's on him. He knows if AP fails, if Champ fails, I carry that weight on me. People are not going to just blame me now for a loss. They're going to blame me for an organizational failure. So what he said was, I'm willing to help carry this weight. I play in games that don't matter. I play in games because we only get 17, where the playoffs are done and I could check out. But that's not who I am. Trust me. You may not agree with Maxx Crosby. You may think going with AP over Dodds and AP and Champ over Dodds and Harbaugh, Dodds and Vrabel, or whoever you want. You may think he's wrong. That's a dumb move. Okay, you're entitled to that opinion. He's entitled to his. And he's making it known. Just win. And he's willing to accept more of the responsibility. I'm sorry. You can disagree with him. But if your attitude is, your opinions don't matter. Okay. Okay. So you don't change jobs? I've had jobs before that I changed because I didn't like the leadership. You never have? You never have. He took a very team-friendly deal because he wanted to be a Raider. Made a lot of money. No one's doubting that. But he took a very team-friendly deal. Didn't let it get to where they had to franchise tag him. Didn't want to see what the market offered. He did a Tom Brady-esque move. Took a very friendly deal. And now he's saying, hey, if y'all aren't going to make decisions that I think lead to winning, I'm going to explore every option, which is the possibility of asking you to trade me. I don't see one thing that Maxx Crosby did wrong. It's amazing how many people want players to voice their opinions unless they disagree with it. Again, most of the players on this team, their opinion doesn't matter. He's the one. Again, maybe Devontae, but those are the two. And really, you can make an argument there's only one whose voice deserves that weight. You may disagree, but I don't believe he said anything wrong. All right, let's move along. Let's talk about Champ Kelly. Champ had an interview in Carolina, and I have a connection to somebody in Carolina that goes back many, many years before I was covering the Raiders, before this person was any part of the organization whatsoever. Known them a long time. And I simply asked, hey, how did things go with Champ? In which I don't have the service right now. But I was told, I'm paraphrasing here, that he killed it, that he knew their entire roster without notes. Again, I'm going off memory here. I'm not reading it. That without notes, he broke down their entire roster. He gave multiple answers to multiple questions that really opened the door to him almost hyperlinking his answers, and he would go on and explain everything. I was told it was the longest of all the interviews that they conducted, and was told that by this person that they would be stunned if Champ Kelly didn't get another interview. It went really, really well. Now, There are two camps: those that think Champ Kelly has done everything in the world to earn this job, talking about with the Raiders, and those that don't. However you decide your opinion is fine with me. I have made it clear. I said it when Mike Mayock was released that I believed he was an awesome candidate for the job, and I stand by that. I think now more than ever, he is the best candidate. He knows this roster upwards, downwards, backwards, and forward. He carries tremendous respect in the National Football League. He picks up that phone, everybody's picking it up. Now, some of them, when you have a general manager, pick it up thinking, we can fleece these guys. Okay. The Raiders previously, before Champ got here, were considered to have an archaic scouting system. They were considered teams that would make emotional decisions. I mean, look at some of the draft picks, just made no sense. Just none. Emotion. Oh, I can fix that guy. Oh, I can, whatever. And so there were times teams felt like they could probably take a little bit of an advantage of the Raiders. Now, Champ Kelly was a key asset and that Dave Ziegler entrusted to revamp the scouting system, and now it's one of the best in the National Football League. And he is a guy that when he calls, people pick up the phone. They know that he's not out trying to make them look stupid. But he's smart. He knows his roster. He knows your roster. He knows every roster in the National Football League. He's already here. He's already established. He already has the franchise scouting and working towards the next draft. He's the guy that when Mark Davis made the decision to move on from McDaniels and from Ziegler, he entrusted Champ Kelly. There were two names considered for interim coach, Edgar Bennett and him. And he presented those options to Mark and felt like Antonio Pierce was the way to go. That proved to be a very good decision. And he goes and kills it with Carolina. I know this. A couple of reasons people have asked me, how come more clubs haven't wanted to interview him? First of all, a lot of teams maybe have a guy already in mind that they know who they want. So that's a reason not everybody gets interviews. Second of all, I know of one club because I have a very good friend that I hunt and fish with every year, who's part of that club, that their exact words were, I don't think he fits in our organization because of our owner does primarily a lot of what he does through other people. So it's fascinating how all that works. But again, expect him to get a second interview. Not reporting that as a fact yet, just that the person there expects it, said they would be stunned if he didn't, but he knocked it out of the park. Now, here's one, and I want to quickly address something. None of that came from Champ. I saw people, oh, this is a leak from Champ. I'm telling you right now, it had nothing to do with Champ. It came from somebody within the Carolina organization. So that's out. Now, I am going to tell you a little bit, not much, but a little bit about what's going on with him and the Raiders. I expect him. I'm not here reporting it as 100% accurate. I'm giving you my expectation is that Champ Kelly is going to be the general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders. Certainly, that is wide open. I'm just telling you what I believe. I think it's the best option for the Raiders, but my opinion is irrelevant. Mark Davis does not care. what Hondo Carpenter thinks, and he doesn't care what you think. It's his team. Do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. If he chose to trademark Maxx Crosby tomorrow, it's his team. I'm not invested as a fan. My job is as an analyst. And so analyzing this situation, being there, talking to players and members of the organization on a regular basis, knowing what is going on, he's clearly the best option. It doesn't mean there isn't some other really good guys. It just means he's clearly the best option, in my opinion. I expect him to get it. The only thing I will tell you is that he has made a tremendous impression within the entire organization. He is very respected and has made a tremendous impression. We'll leave it there. Now we move to Antonio Pierce. I don't, they could certainly go hire whoever they want. I don't think there is a better coaching candidate for this job than Antonio Pierce at all. Don't think there's a better one. I believe, I'm not reporting this as factual, I'm giving you Hondo Carpenter opinion. I believe that he will be the next coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. That's what I believe. My 7%, no, I'm telling you, that's what I believe, that he's going to be the next coach of the Raiders, which is a terrific decision. But here is something that I want to throw out at you. Now, if you don't want him, that's fine. I don't think anyone who watches this podcast, who knows football in the least, would say that Jim Harbaugh is a horrible football coach. You'd have to be insane to say that. You'd have to be insane to say that Mike Vrabel is a horrible football coach. Okay. That just is not even logical. They're good coaches. But this team right now, where they are at, the best option and the one that I think gives you the best opportunity to win without any mode of a rebuild is AP. Now, remember, I got to look at my notes here. I think it's the 22nd in-person interviews can begin with coaches whose teams are still in the playoff. Okay. But one of the things you want to be aware of and be cognizant of is, let's assume that Carolina comes back and says to Champ, all right, we want you. Who do you want to be our head coach? And he says AP. Okay. Now you're Champ and you're AP. If you're offered the jobs, do you continue to wait, hoping that you get the Raiders? Now, I'm going to be very blunt with you because I know both men. I know them both. I believe their heart is 100% Raider. In fact, I know that. They love the Raiders. They want this job with the Las Vegas Raiders, period. That's what they want. But do you wait wanting something when your dream is to be a general manager or to be a head coach and there's only 32 of them? Do you continue to wait or say, listen, this is what I want, but this is what I have offer for right now? And if my dream is to be a head coach and my dream is to be the Raiders, but they can't make up their mind, do I take that opportunity? I don't know the answer to that. And I think I'm very good about telling you this is what I know, this is what I don't know. But I'm telling you, I believe, I know both men want to be Raiders. But I believe if the Raiders drag their feet, that they would certainly give great attention to the possibility of going somewhere else. I believe that 100%, as would all of us. If you had a chance to be a TV personality, let's say that you're in TV and you've always wanted to be an ESPN Sports Center anchor. All right. And that doesn't happen, but another sports media entity, let's say NFL Network, offers you a job as an anchor. Do you just sit around and say, no, I want to be with ESPN? No, you take that job. Maybe your dream is to been a lathe operator for General Motors. And it's always been your dream, but you got a chance to be a lathe operator for Ford. Right? What do you do? So that is the current state of where it's sitting. There is, I think there's going to be one other team that was going to want to interview Patrick Graham. I'm almost certain of that. I'm talking to somebody who I know very, very well in that organization. Um, I'm not going to get into why he has that request hasn't been made yet, although it may have already been made. I don't know that, so you're going to have to forgive me, but I don't believe they had it. But I think there's a very good chance that Patrick Graham is going to get another interview as well. And so that's where the process sits. Do I think the Raiders could have a coach and a general manager in place within a week? Yes, I think they could. Do I expect it? Probably not. I think it's going to be just probably a little bit longer than that. But that is where the situation sits today. There's a lot of great options. There's a lot of great options. I think there is some angst amongst the players, but some of them, it's just the reality. Their angst is not relevant. It is to them, but I mean, it's not relevant to rushing a decision. But when you got a Maxx Crosby saying, hey, just make sure you get it right, there's no angst unless you don't. So that's where the situation sits. We're going to continue to bring you updates on it all the time, all week. You know, we present these podcasts to you all the time. Thank you for listening, everybody. And I hope it brings a different perspective with Maxx. And you may say, I don't like players making those statements. I respect that. But if you're just like, bye, don't care, I think you need to check yourself and ask yourself, why is his voice different? Why is his voice different? Because it is. I'm going to end with this. Years ago, I'm actually going to tell you two quick stories, but years ago, I knew a guy who had a girlfriend who tried to control his life. And this guy's dad went to him and said, listen, when you get married, your wife's your partner. You listen to everything your wife has to say. But you're not even engaged and she's trying to control you. You may want to back off. If she's your wife, her voice is different. But she's not even your fiance. And the guy took the advice, said, hey, listen, I appreciate you. You're my girlfriend, but we're not even engaged yet. Step back a little bit. Don't try to run my life. And I believe now they've been married over 30 years. And her voice is different. Why? Because she's not a girlfriend. She's a wife who's produced some wonderful children. And they're partners in life. The voice is different. Last point. and we're on a hunting trip. And when I come in from hunting, I'm working, even sitting in the blind, I'm texting, doing work, working all the time. And I love it. It's not a complaint. And I'm sitting at the computer typing, and my 18-month-old son, Dexter, comes up to me and he's trying to get dad's attention. And I'm like, it's okay, Dexter. Just give daddy a minute. I'm working. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden it hits me. I've got plenty of older children, and they don't come and jump in dad's lap anymore. They're not demanding of my attention. They have lives. They're older. And I miss them and I love them like every parent does. And I thought, Dexter's not always going to want to get in dad's lap. He's not going to want to just take a second and give me a hug and a kissy and I love you, Dad. So his voice was different. So I pushed back the computer, reached down, grabbed him, pulled him up, gave him a huge hug and a kiss. We talked for a couple of minutes, as much as an 18-month-old and his 52-year-old dad do. Put him back down the ground and he crawled away 3 or 4 steps around and says, bye-bye, and walked out and crawled out of the room. My point to you is this. His voice is different. He's my son. And no matter what I'm doing, there's nothing of more value than him. Maxx Crosby's voice is different. I don't think the way he said it was wrong. I think he could have said it wrong. I don't think it did at all. And I think his voice deserved to be heard. I appreciate all of you very, very much. You're tremendous people. You're hardworking people. You're the salt of the earth. And I love spending time with you guys every single day in these podcasts. So from all of us here at Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast, I appreciate you. I respect you. Thank you for spending some time with us. I hope you have a wonderful day. And wherever you are, I hope you're able to stay warm. Our heat here where we're at on the trip is set at 70, and the temperature inside is 56. So, oh boy, is it fun. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us. And stay out of trouble and be good.